The Commanders are going to win the NFC East this year. Is that an overreaction?
It's not an overreaction, entirely within the realm of possibility.
All right, so that was a clip from one of those televised TV shows about football. So real quick, just to let you guys know, the idea of doing this channel is that I've, for the last 2 years, been way too heavily invested in watching game film for the NFL and looking at stats and all that fun jazz for a multitude of different reasons. But I keep on listening to takes because it pops up on my TikTok or on YouTube, and the takes are generic, usually misinformed. These guys are not watching film. They're literally just looking at stats, box scores, and like recap videos or what their buddy down the hall in the next dressing room says. But going into 2025 and 2024 for Jayden Daniels, right? The guy went lower in completion percentage, lower in yards per attempt. It wasn't a huge drop, but it was a drop. We look at the receiving core in 2024 and 2025. I'm combining them together. We had Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, and a multitude of other guys. In 2026, there's going to be Terry McLaurin, Luke McCaffrey, who you only know because of his brother Christian, Antonio Williams, who you don't know and I don't know, and Chig Okonkwo, who came from the Tennessee Titans, if that tells you anything in advance. I think he's a talented guy, but is he an elite top 5 tight end, top 10 tight end? I don't really think so. So receiving core is a little bit worse. Jayden Daniels, a little bit worse. Oh, I failed to mention too, Jayden Daniels, has a hard time staying healthy, as we saw last year, and a little brief glimpse into it in 2024 as well. Think about the running backs now, the running back room. You had Brian Robinson in 2024, 4.3 yards per attempt. Austin Eckler, 4.8 yards per attempt. And Jeremy McNichols, 4.7 yards per attempt. Let's think about the running back who was the primary running back in reality in 2025. Ja'Cory Cross-Gameret, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, behind a better offensive line in 2025. So somewhere between Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, Brian Robinson, he was kind of mixed in there, so I guess it kind of averaged itself out. But they brought in Rachaad White. Why did they bring in Rachaad White? Because Ja'Cory Cross-Gameret's going to be the primary ball carrier at 205 pounds? No, because they're going to get the ball to him as well. And Rachaad White, unfortunately, historically, in 2025, carried for 4.3 yards per carry behind a top 5 offensive line, dramatically better than what they have in Washington, even though it's an upgraded unit. So the running back room, you could say, is kind of a wash, maybe a miniature step back. So no real true mega improvements for this team, but they're going to win the division this year because Jayden Daniels is going to stay healthy because that's what he does, right? Then we look at the offensive line. They lost their center, Tyler Biadasz. He was a top 10 center. Now they replaced him with a guy who we don't really know. He's probably not going to be a top 10 center, so their offensive line is going to get a little bit worse. There's no Cliff Kingsbury there now, who helped Jayden Daniels be the guy he was in 2024. Maybe he contributed to him getting injured in 2025, but that guy is no longer the OC. He's with the Rams as an assistant head coach. So offensive play calling, probably a little bit worse. Dan Quinn is not an offensive coach. He is a defensive coach. The defense lost some veterans. They brought in some new players. So the defense, let's just say the defense, out of all the things, is 10 to 15% improved. So quarterback who can't stay healthy, who played worse last year, behind a better offensive line than the year before. Offensive line is worse. Running back room is about the same. Wide receiver room is worse. It doesn't really sound like the Commanders are set up to just dominate and no question about it, win the division. I just think it's a horrible, horrible take. Sure, you can say it's for TV. I don't really care. You said it, dude. You got to live with it. So the reality is, right, the Giants are going to be better under Harbaugh. They're going to all play better. Their defense is a top 10 to top 15 unit at worst in the NFL. They are going to be a much improved team. So you have Commanders, Giants, they're pretty close in reality. Jackson Dart's pretty good. Okay, then you have the Eagles, whose offense, A.J. Brown left, that sucks, but they're going to bounce back. Saquon's going to bounce back. This offensive line's going to bounce back and be healthy. You're going to have Devonta Smith out there, Mekhi Lemon out there. They're going to be a pretty good offensive unit. Their defense is still going to be pretty dang good. So, okay, Commanders, Giants, Eagles. And then, the Cowboys, who were top 5 in every offensive category last year and pretty much have the exact same offensive unit, and all of their line is 1 year older, which means they should be just a little bit better in 2026. And that defense last year was horrible. They've been horrible for a long time. But they could probably get to 17th, 18th ranked defense in the NFL, slightly below average, and they will probably run away with that division. Now, I'm not a Cowboys fan, just want to throw that out there right now, just so we all know that. But I am a fan of watching tape and, actually knowing what I'm talking about when it comes to football. So Cowboys, even if you want to go Cowboys-Eagles, they're pretty close. Cowboys-Eagles, sure. It's Cowboys-Eagles, but whatever. Cowboys-Eagles. You have Giants and Commanders. The Commanders would be lucky to finish third in their division this year. It's just not a good situation. Jayden Daniels isn't set up for success. Unfortunately, his health is not setting him up for success. This team is going to be worse in every offensive facet than it was last year. They're not going to win their division. It's just not a possibility. Sure, nothing is 0%, but if you're saying 1% and they're saying it's pretty great, and if you listen to the full video, obviously, which I'm not going to be able to post, they all agree. They're like, oh yeah, they definitely could do it. They definitely. No. And then there's another double down take from another host right here.
I think he is the most fascinating, pivotal player in the league this year, Jayden Daniels, and I would not be shocked at all, Greeny, if the Commanders win the East outright.
Come on, dude. Really? If A.J. Brown steps up and plays like a baller like he has in the past, the Patriots are probably going back and winning a Super Bowl. They have that opportunity. He's more pivotal than Jayden Daniels is because he has a team around him already, and it's just him who was the major missing piece. Think about the addition of Myles Garrett to the Rams. If he can repeat a season from last year or do slightly better, which is in the realm of reality, he could be the most pivotal piece that makes the Rams go to Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. If Brock Purdy comes back and plays healthy and plays at the ceiling that he's able to, he could lead the 49ers to the NFC Championship or a Super Bowl. There's plenty of other players out there who are going to be just as impactful, if not more impactful, on better teams who are going to have more of a hand in their team going to their respective NFC, AFC Championship game or going to the Super Bowl. Think about CJ Stroud. If CJ Stroud, the guy who cannot not turn the football over, if he can just play at a league average QB level, the Texans have a very realistic chance of going to the Super Bowl because the weapons are there, the offensive line is slightly improved, and the defense is fantastic. So CJ Stroud could be the most important and catalyst player to his team going to the Super Bowl in the NFL because his team has an actual chance to at least go to the AFC Championship game. I do not think the Commanders holistically, unfortunately, have that opportunity. I feel like it's just bad takes, bad looks ahead, and just people who are trying to make content when they don't know what they're talking about. Be better off talking about the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I'd appreciate that take 10% more, not because I've heard it 50,000 times, because they have a better chance, maybe even like the Eagles, of going and winning their division, going to the NFC Championship game over the Commanders. These people on TV, they are paid actors who talk about football on their TV shows. Hopefully this channel show is semi-entertaining. Sprinkle in some fantasy football content, sprinkle in some player props, NFL betting stuff, because I like to, again, watch tape and I kind of glean a lot of information from that. So hopefully we can kind of make this a conglomerate of football stuff during the preseason, regular season, and then postseason and the draft and all the rest of that stuff as well. If you guys did enjoy watching, I hate doing this because I really just don't believe in it. But if you guys enjoy watching and want to see more of the content, maybe, like, comment, and then if you want to do the third thing, because I just don't want to say it out loud because everyone says it, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. You guys have a blessed day.